later on, combining the short field takeoff and landing capabilities of the Hercules and the heavy lifting capabilities of the C-5 Galaxy. The Globemaster is pretty much Believe it or not, that airplane can go 515 miles an hour. And look how responsive it is in its ability to turn very, very rapidly. We'll be talking all about the C-17 Globemaster 3 and also another aircraft that, like the Globemaster 3, comes from Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma, the KC-135R Stratotanker. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. C-17 that's inbound right now is being piloted by Major Ian Crawford from Charleston, South Carolina, Major Caleb Morris from Charleston, South Carolina, and Major Steve Carrots from Madison, Wisconsin, and the Loadmaster is Technical Sergeant Valerie Stevens from Caldwell, Texas. This is really an amazing airplane from a lot of different standpoints, but I want you just to watch it as it works its way in. Coming in from the right, one of the most advanced aircraft in the world. With a 192-foot wingspan, it's 174 feet long. It's about 55 feet from the bottom of the tires to the top of the tail. Look at this thing as it comes by. As big as it is, it only takes a crew of 3. There have been those since it went into service who have said, well, it's a freighter, right? Yeah. Well, it has some things that are obviously freighter-like its size, its load-carrying capability. It can carry 170 tons worth of cargo, people, or whatever. It can also carry a full surgical suite, making it an airborne hospital. But unlike a cargo airplane and most large airplanes, it doesn't have a big control yoke to turn it, to control it, to pull back and go left and right. Like a fighter jet, it's got a control stick that comes up through the floorboards, so each of the pilots will have one hand on the stick, one hand on the throttles. It's got quadruple, redundant, digital, hydraulic flight control systems. And even if they all fail, they can go back to a manual system. It also has another thing that is common to fighter aircraft and has been for decades. It's called a heads-up display, where the pertinent flight information isn't just put on the panel down here, so the windscreen is up above. The pilot doesn't have to look down to see all that pertinent information. He or she just needs to look straight ahead and can see the airspeed, the altitude, the attitude, the heading, and the rate of climb, and all sorts of other important information from flying the plane. Slowing down now, you're going to see the tires hanging out, and the leading edge slats extended, and the trailing edge flaps also extended, allowing it to come through at only about 140 miles an hour. Look at the tires. Now, I think I have my tire count right. 14 tires, okay? How do you change them? They have jacks on each one, so they can just push it up. They don't have to bring in all sorts of special equipment. They can pull a tire off and change it very, very rapidly. Plus, all the very, very important maintenance panels are within the reach of a man or woman. Now look at that. Look how fast it can bang. the C-17 Globemaster 3 generates about 41,000 pounds of thrust. And so advanced are the loading capabilities of this airplane that one loadmaster, in this case, Technical Sergeant Valerie Stevens from Caldwell, Texas, can supervise and handle all the loading and unloading of that nearly 170 tons of cargo. Fully loaded, this airplane comes in at an astounding 585,000 pounds. And now as they set up for the next pass, what I think is going to happen is that Major Crawford and Caleb Morris and Steve Carrots are going to be saying, we're going to do a quick turn on this. So they'll come by, they'll throw that stick over to the right and put it in about a 45-degree angle of back and do a minimum radius turn. These engines that generate that 41,000 pounds of thrust are the same type that are on the Boeing 757 jetliner. So if you've done any air travel and found yourself on a Boeing 757, this is the military version of the same engine. Douglas Aircraft started it, then McDonnell Douglas, then Boeing. And if you go back to 1942, Douglas first started building their dynasty of cargo airplanes with a C-54. The C-54, over 1,100 were built, and many of them participated in what was the largest humanitarian airlift in the history of the world, the Berlin airlift after World War II. Then came the C-74 Globemaster 1. It burst through in 1945, right after the war ended, so the orders were canceled. Then came the C-124 Globemaster 2. It had big piston engines, and it was a two-story cargo plane, and each of the engines generated 3,500 horsepower. And then came the C-133. It was the Cargo Master. It was designed to carry ballistic missiles in it, and they only made 50 of them. And back in 2012, the last one made its final flight at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California. Landed. It's at a museum there now for many to see, but we'll never see it fly again. But the C-17 Globemaster 3 is that middle step in the three-legged stool of the heavy lifters for the United States Air Force. The big C-5 Galaxy by Lockheed weighs in at 858,000 pounds. This is 585,000 pounds fully loaded. But I want you to watch now as they approach for what is going to be a tactical landing. The C-17 is so maneuverable, not only in the air but on the ground, that it can actually turn around on a 90-foot wide runway. Remember that the wingspan's 192 feet. As they come in, they'll slow to about 140, 130 miles an hour. What I want you to pay close attention to as they come in for this landing is the engine nacelles, the pods in which the engines are mounted. You'll see them open up with panels, and they will do what airliners do. They will use the reverse thrust, where they will divert the thrust coming out the back, make it go forward to help them slow down and land at only, well, who knows how little time. It also gives them the ability to back up once they are on the ground if they can't turn around. Ladies and gentlemen, here we come. Let's watch as the C-17 Globemaster 3 from Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma touches down. Watch the nacelles down. They open up now, and this is about as much noise as this airplane is ever going to make. for your United States Air Force's C-17 Globemaster 3.
I've never seen the Globemaster pop open the door and take it back up. Maybe I just looks like she'd make a point here.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to turn the microphone over to my buddy Jim Record from the Geico Skytypers. Jim, you've got it, my friend.
Thank you so much, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Well, the Geico Skytypers, we're proud to be at this terrific Virginia Beach Oceana Air Show today.